Hello, friends, and good brunch afternoon, and welcome to our beach brunch. Hey, folks, back together again. It's always a good
Hey,
time.
girl.
You want a little something? Ja, a little bit.
I'm gonna
You'll
need a
take little
moment.
bit?
I need some in a moment.
So
How you doing, girl?
I'm good, but I got a problem when I'm dealing with my coaching.
What's
So
going
every time
on?
a part of the coaching is I got to go on social media and kind of look at their following, kind of see what they put out there about themselves, so I can do a little bit more get an in-depth understanding of who they are.
Right.
And what I'm finding is when they come and trying to get coaching, they just don't present themselves as their authentic self. And so I just feel like is social media kind of just altering your sense of reality.
Well, I think because people are covering up so many insecurities. So I think
How
that
you gonna
they
get
were.
help though if
but-
you're covering up all these
But
insecurities?
if you people are hiding because they don't want a person to see them their true selves, because their true selves may not be necessarily all that fantastic.
I mean, but do you blame
and
them?
marketable? You know
But
what
do
I
you
mean?
blame them though?
But why wouldn't you blame them if they're coming and trying to be the authentic self? And every time you look up, they got on clothes that they can't afford. They driving around in cars. They posing in front of cars that you know don't belong to them. And
Ain't
then we
nothing wrong with
wonder
a good
why.
rental.
See, but we wonder why. At the end of the day, now you sitting up in a therapist chair. Now you talking about needing life coaching. Now it keeps me in business, but at the
Exactly.
same time, we're not educating ourselves to be our authentic self.
But what if your authentic self is trash?
But
Well, let's start here.
okay.
So how do you think they should be presenting themselves?
I think they should, number one, what do you feel about social media in and of itself? Because I just feel like it's too much of a platform. They see too much of how
Right.
other people are presenting themselves.
Of course.
That is not everybody's real life. And so for that reason, I feel like it just creates a false sense of security.
Right.
But
as adults, we
perception
should know
trumps
that. though.
reality. So a person will. Actually, we all are hiding. That's
But
what
how
a
do
good
you-
resume is.
A good, yeah,
But I
that's
think-
one thing. But it has some truth to it.
Right, but I think the point of social media is to present your best self.
Right.
And the good parts
Or
of
the
you.
best version of yourself
Right, nobody's
in
really
that
going to
space
put
and time.
right. Nobody's really going to put the negative side of themselves on
Right.
the internet.
They not
right?
gonna
My
put
goal
up
is
in
to
there
show
that my
you.
teeth used to be bad. I'm bald head under this wig. My butt was courtesy of Dr. Miami. They don't want to tell you the truth because the truth often is just not okay.
But here's the thing. It's
Because
not just,
people are
the
so
truth.
judgmental.
But it-
People are
that's-
judgmental.
Okay, now
that's
that's-
it.
that's- I
that's
think
the
that's
most
what it
important
is.
thing, right? Judgment, right?
Yes.
Because everyone judges everybody,
Right.
and that's the biggest part of it.
Well, that's
You're
the
only
problem.
going to put out what's good, so people judge you less.
Well, why do you even get on social media then?
But social media makes a person more uncomfortable in their true skin because they can't be
100%
that
agree.
person.
So when you are trying to be on your own journey to get to your authentic self, why do you put yourself on a platform of judgment out there for other people to determine who they think you should be?
I mean,
but
but-
how you ever gonna find out who you are when you got so much of this falseness out there that's being publicized?
But when a person is insecure, often they want acceptance, they want followers, they want people to perceive them in a way that they wish they were.
Right, and it's human
So-
nature. We always want people to like us.
Yeah, but when
Right.
you
That's the
telling a
purpose of
lie,
it.
when you telling a lie, not
is it a
just
lie?
to other people but to yourself.
But is it a lie?
Is it? Are we all sitting around happy all day? Or do
No.
we all have the ability to live this false lifestyle that's being publicized as the norm?
But I put on
Is
social
our
media-
skin flawless every day? No.
Mine
Then they
is.
put
Mine
I'm sure you think
Speak
it's
for
fine.
yourself.
Mine is.
Sure.
Mine is. I'm sorry.
Mine not. So
Mine
at the end of the
is.
day, when they put all these filters on TV and all these
wrong with a good
smartphone
filter.
apps, it's nothing wrong with a good filter, but it's nothing wrong with living your best life in reality to find out the truth, the stuff that really you care about.
Muffin, people not
Yes,
gonna
sweetie.
be able to do the India Irie. I'm not the average girl.
Right.
We're not gonna be able to do that.
Why? This is what God created.
But often,
This is who you are, and you gotta love yourself first before you put yourself out on the platform
but
for
it's
other people
also
to judge
difficult to get a mate these days because they used to these women built by Mattel,
you. Built by Doctor Who.
Miami.
And
so it's
so
difficult.
everybody looking the same. But then God create you to be your most beautiful self you can be authentically.
But all selves ain't beautiful.
All selves are beautiful.
I mean, I guess it's a lid for every pot.
If you living in this body, it's got to be beautiful. And why you gonna let somebody judge it and then you go alter it to be something different?
But I think that's taking the conversation in a completely different place, right?
Why?
The original question
But the social media.
is, what does social media do to...
Does it set up a false sense of security?
Does it set up a false
It
sense of
does.
reality?
And
yes, I think we all can agree, yes, that it does, right?
Yes.
But there's some good parts to social media that help
It
others,
is.
right? Like for me, my business is ran on social media. I have a
Which is
YouTube
probably
channel.
why you got your opinion.
Right. I have a YouTube channel. And guess what? It helps people or it inspires people to live their best lives, right? So granted, I don't put the nitty gritty and every single aspect of my life on there, but there
you
are
put
good
the
parts to my
highlights.
life to help inspire other people that
Right.
they can be doing the same things that I'm doing to live their best life.
Now,
like
I
my
could agree.
vacations,
I could
my
agree with
day-to-days,
that.
right? Shopping, things like that are things that I put on my actual channel, right?
Do you put the trials and tribulations and all the other stuff that happens in your life too, so they
Not necessarily,
understand
not
that?
necessarily, but
Okay.
I talk about them.
Okay.
Right? Like something I put on something I put on one of my channels is I take breaks every now and then from social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about the importance of taking a break from social media
What's
to
the
make
importance
sure that,
of it?
to make sure that I'm in reality and I'm living in the moment because life is so short.
I agree.
And that's very important to me.
I
So a lot
agree.
of times people are like, okay, you haven't put out a video this week or it's been at least 30 days. The reason why is because I'm living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I take these breaks. So when I come back, I explain to them, hey, over the last 30 days, this is what I've been doing. These are some things that have happened to me. I captured some of those moments for you all. And then I bring them into kind of what my reality is, the good and the bad.
But
Right.
see, I think it can be inspirational. But what ends up happening, just like you said, we put too much of the good and not enough of the bad.
Right.
And when we put too much of the good, that sets a false reality of life.
But think
all
about
life
who
ain't
runs
a whole
the
bunch
business
of
on the
good.
internet, though.
They
That's
don't want
another
the
thing.
business
Well,
on the
your
internet.
business that is the whole point of social media. Because you
But
put
not
all
necessarily.
but
But
not
not
necessarily.
necessarily.
You're not
also-
putting the real business out there.
Right,
Now-
but sometimes too, a lot of it too is about clicks and being
It's
able
about
to get
making
sponsored
money.
and
It
money.
is.
And you sitting over there crying and upset and showing
Isn't
all
that life, though?
It
But here's the
is.
thing, and there's some parts of social media where I don't like when people share the bad stuff. Like, I don't need to know that you're sitting in a hospital bed and you're sick, right?
Why? Because that's life. So when
That
people
is,
get
but-
in the hospital bed,
But guess what,
then
though?
they don't know how to get out of it because they see so many people out of it, just happy go lucky. So now I'm in the hospital bed. I'm different from everybody else.
But think
it's not
about this.
authentic.
Think about the other person that's on the receiving end. They may be going through something in life, and them seeing somebody that's sick or going through it, it makes them even more depressed.
That may be true.
Right? Sometimes some
if
people
you
log into
depressed,
social
you don't
media
need
for
to be on social media.
But-
Looking for other people
But
to
what if
live
that's
this.
what if that's your only source of entertainment? What if that's your
Right.
only source of inspiration?
Why? You can't walk out and talk
No,
to your
but-
neighbor.
no.
That's not the generation that we
and
live in
have
But that's
today.
not
friends.
what we live in.
That's not the
And-
world that we live in.
And that's why I think it deters you from living your authentic self.
Sometimes.
Social media is just a step away from artificial intelligence and avatars. You're going to have somebody up, because they do it on these social media and dating
That's
apps
true.
now. They catfish you all day long. Put somebody else's picture up there that they want you to think they look like.
Right, and then
You go meet them in person and they get disappointed because they're living a lie. It's the same thing when you
That's
on
true.
social media and you
True.
get disappointed because you living a lie.
But so basically what you're saying, the whole platform is a catfish. It's just one big old catfish. It's whiskers everywhere.
I think it's
I think it's
whiskers
about what
everywhere.
you use it for.
I agree with
It's
you
about
there.
what you use it for and who's utilizing it.
I think
Right,
it
'cause
was
not everybody
But
lives a
also,
false
too,
sense
it's
of reality.
and a lot of it is for enjoyment and it's for entertainment
entertainment.
purposes.
Right, and
Fully.
connection, right?
Yes.
But people
And
don't use
also
it just
too,
for
it
entertainment.
connects you with people that you, in our area, people we would never have ever got to see.
Very
We
true.
wouldn't be able to communicate with somebody in Africa.
I agree. Unless you travel
Because
to Africa.
right, unless you travel to Africa.
And that's the whole
And
point.
they had us with a whole false sense of what Africa was. And
Till
it's
you go there.
absolutely beautiful.
I think social media is propaganda at its worst.
So, but also
They use
social
it to
media did
manipulate
that.
people. They use it to bring you together, to keep you in this mist, this lotus mist. before you have an opportunity to just get into your life and involved and understanding what life means for you.
Okay.
And not have everybody all in your business.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So what do you use your social media for?
I really don't use social media.
Oh.
So there you go. I don't. I live in the real world. I don't have,
Has it always been like that?
The only thing I will put on social media, and I have a Facebook. I don't have Instagram. And the last time I posted on Facebook, I don't have no TikTok. Don't know how to TikTok, whatever that might. No. I live in the real world.
Okay, so tell us what you're doing during that time besides working.
You know what? I travel. That was the only thing I would put on Facebook.
Okay.
Is my travels to around the world. That would be one thing.
Okay.
Maybe there's an inspirational little.
But that's the thing.
Maybe an inspirational
it depends
quote.
on what your niche is on social media.
I'll say happy birthday to stay connected with people. I never comment on people's clothes. I never comment on the things. But what are you doing in reality is the question, right? Since you're not on social media, the bulk of your time throughout the day, besides working, is spent doing what? Improving myself.
Like doing what?
It's all about self-help. I read books.
Okay.
I do gardening. I do life coaching.
Okay.
I like to get out into nature.
But the thing is,
I involve myself with people
that,
in and outside of my community.
But social media is doing everything you said. It's somebody out there that has a channel that's about books.
Exactly.
So they're dealing with nothing but books. It's people who got gardening channels.
Yep.
It's people who have inspirational, motivational. They found their tribe,
right,
and they're on social media, they're utilizing it to network and to be able to experience people that they customarily wouldn't have been able to just walk out their door.
I agree. It connects us in a way, but does it connect us when we use it to a detriment to ourselves, where we're not being authentic? Yeah, if it's just connecting you 100%, it's just like the internet. It gives us a means to connect. It's just like a highway and a byway. Right? You get in your car, you can get connected. You get on a plane, you get connected. It just makes it easier to connect.
Right.
However, when you're connecting, how do you put it in such a framework that it's not hindering you from living in reality? That is a question in and of itself, because that's what I see.
Okay, so what's your suggestion? I mean, you have a very strong opinion about this. What is your suggestion for how people live their authentic selves on social media? Because it's not going anywhere. It's the way of the world.
I agree. Yes. I agree.
So what's the advice? How do I live my authentic self on social media? Do I just share the good and the bad?
I think that's what you do. It tends to be inspirational, because when you are showing the good and the bad, when you show the bad, then that relates, in my opinion, to people that see the bad. And then they know this is a human being. This is a person that's going through some of the same stuff I'm going through. Let's share our story, because that's the connection of the story.
But unfortunately, people don't see it that way.
Exactly.
I know.
That's not the world that we live in.
It isn't. You think that's why I think social media prevents you from being your authentic self.
So do you think it's detrimental to
based
society?
On the user.
I do.
Do you think we should go back to the old school way?
The old school way was what?
I'm just trying to figure out
the way that you're living right now.
I was gonna say, you bring us back to the rotary phone and Android.
I'm sorry. I love y'all. I'm bringing you back out to talking to somebody and intermingling in your community.
And I will say you're right, because I will say in the pandemic, I lived in a building with 380 units, and I did not even know the person in front of me to the side of me.
And before you know, we all gonna be sitting here on a computer, not healthy.
But that's the thing, though. But back in the old days, what she's talking about,
and it ain't the old days.
We're not back in the old days, though.
But in the pandemic,
pandemic,
the fact that we were isolated into a building back in the old days, they all would have been coming together and loving each other.
Chicken and waffles is delicious.
Yes, this is delightful.
I just think it's not the old days.
Mine a little dry. No, I haven't had
you need a little syrup.
Yeah, I've been trying to.
You've been trying to hold that sweetness down. I just agree that there are ways to use social media in a platform that helps to promote. I just think at the end of the day, what it's been turned into is just a platform of just me trying to show you this life. I want you to believe I'm fully living.
It will always be like that.
It's rich girl TikTok. It's rich girl Instagram.
Yeah, it will always be like that. The more that we have celebrities on there, right?
That's true.
The more the user gets younger.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right, and so it's inevitable. It's going to always be that
and
way.
it's going to be this way, Tim. I think
I
that
think
you're
it just,
in the minority, my love.
I know that I am, because I'm an intelligent individual that likes to live this life in this body, interacting with physical human beings.
Yes.
And not, interactive technology. And that is going to be the demise of us.
Well, listen, not everyone is like that, right?
Get out and reach out to each other in your community. Learn to get to know your neighbor. Find alternative means to use it in a way where you're living your authentic self. That's all I'm saying.
And listen, that is the best message. I completely receive
that's
that.
a great message.
And I think everybody out there should do the same exact thing.
Yes.
Take this topic back to your peach brunch and enjoy with as much passion as we've shared.